Hello and welcome to Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Mike Bosley. In just a few moments, we'll be joined by Deena Pace, the Executive Director of the Humane Society. But before we do that, we're going to go into Mike's Pet Peeves. This, of course, is my opinion, not the opinion of the board or anybody important. That's just me talking to you. Today is not so much a pet peeve. Today is more of a public service announcement. Let's learn drive-through etiquette, shall we? Okay. Now, pre-pandemic, there was this thing called fast food. And when you were in a hurry, you needed fast food. You drove up, you got the fast food, and you left. This was like a 3 to 5 minute ordeal. Now the pandemic has happened, and for some reason, drive-thrus are about 20 minutes long, which really defeats the whole concept of fast food. Now it's just quicker food without having to do the dishes. But when you are in a drive-thru, here are 3 simple things to think about to help speed the process up, if you will. First of all, if you've got an order of 9 people or more, could you please go inside? There's no reason that the 14 people behind you need to wait while you get 9 different hamburgers, 3 of them gluten-free, and whatever specialty you've got going on. Second, please, once you actually have spent 20 minutes in the line, at that last moment is not the time to figure out that you don't know what you want. Could you please figure that out? There is menus, online apps. There is all kinds of ways to figure out what you want. And third, please, 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 since you've been in the drive-thru line for 20 minutes, could you please decide to look for your money or wallet before you get to the pay line? This isn't Canada. There's not free healthcare and free burrito day. This is America, land of the free, so feel free and follow those 3 rules of etiquette, please. What really gets me more than that public service announcement is the amount of stray animals that we actually have in our community. It's a really big problem. The Humane Society at the beginning of the year usually has a grant to help with spay and neuters. If you have an animal and it's going into heat, it's your obligation to make sure that that animal is kept inside or just protected so it doesn't get out and affect the rest of the community. One thing you probably didn't know is the Humane Society of the White Mountains was able this year to go out to the reservation and help with 48 spay or neuters there and help that pet population. What an amazing opportunity it was for the Humane Society to go down and get this taken care of and help out the rest of our community, not just the Pinetop Lakeside, Navajo County. What an amazing, it really is.
It is.
Because they have a huge problem down there. We all know it.
They do. And Mike, when they contacted us about it, they actually are bringing the animals to us. The dates that we had set for them, they bring them up to us, and then they come back 5 hours later and pick them up.
Wow.
So they're animal control. They do have an animal control, kinda.
Okay.
And so it's nice to know, and this came through, I believe, the Indian Health Services, that they realize they have a problem, and usually pre-pandemic, again, Raffles comes down to the reservation once a year and spends a week there at White River, and I believe a week in Sibique. And this year they were not able to because of the pandemic. And so they gave them some money, and when they called us, they said, hey, we could do X amount of dollars per spay and neuter. Can you work with that? I went over, I talked with Dr. Helzer and the team over there, and we said, yeah, absolutely. If we can help 48 more dogs, absolutely, we can do it.
And I mean, let's face it, those hard ladies that just work their tails off, no pun intended, in the paws clinic.
Right.
they took the time to find a way to fit 48 more operations into their already normally busy day.
Right, they had to pull an extra day to do it.
Wow.
So, and they have other obligations too, because they're just there one day a week. So they've pulled extra days, per week to get this done for them. And we're really proud we feel honored to be able to have had the opportunity to partner with the reservation on this project.
Now, there's different ways that the Humane Society gives back to the community other than this instance. What are some other ways the Humane Society gives back?
So, for years we've done a networking with other shelters and rescues when we get too full on animals, which I'm going to stop that for just a second and say we're there. We are there. We have not been filled up on animals. We've been pretty fortunate up until the last probably 6 weeks. And the strays you mentioned, they just keep coming, owner surrenders. And so anyway, last week, Yavapai Humane Society, who we have a really great working partnership with, they came over on Thursday and they took 6 dogs. Well, they also noticed that we had a Great Dane and a big Akita. So they came back on Friday. And when they came back, they told Debbie, our shelter manager, of a need with the Kingman Humane Society had just taken in a bunch of cats. Okay. And they needed food. We were able to supply a van load of food and send it with Yavapai, who was delivering it to Kingman. So we help our community statewide sometimes that way, but we have our kibble program, and especially now for families that are going through these hard times, and if you need help taking care of your pet, please come in and see us. We can supply you for a little while with food for your pets to make things a little easier on you.
Okay, so that, in itself is just amazing. Is there a form I need to fill out?
There is a form you'll need to fill out. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We want
just to make sure that I'm not driving a Cadillac, pulling up, asking for a.
We've had those experiences before.
Okay.
But we want to give you a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
And if you're going through a rough time and you're choosing between food for your pets or surrendering your pets, please come see us. We can help you for a couple months.
Now, pet surrenders. Let's touch on that for just a moment. When someone surrenders their pet, why is it so much better of a process than when someone leaves them tied up to a fence outside the Humane Society? What's the difference?
Mike, actually, you're not going to believe this. Mondays were closed.
Yes.
And Monday I was in my office working, and I'd just gotten back from vacation, so I was going through 297 emails.
I know that feeling.
And getting rid of what I knew I didn't need. And so anyway, I hear something out front, and I look, and there's a young man and woman and a dog. And I think, well, the sign says we're closed. So I keep watching him, and the young man jumped over the gate. She handed him a dog. He set it down and jumped back over the gate and was going to leave it. I come out of the building. What is it?
That's exactly right.
I came out of the building pretty fast and kind of barked.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yeah, it's much better because when you do it the proper way, we have forms for you to fill out. We need to know, what's your pet's name? You know what? That is one of the most important things to me, to know what is your pet's name. Because otherwise, we give them a name, and right now I'm seeing this great Doberman that we have right now, and his owner had to surrender him. It's an older person and could no longer care for him. And this dog's name is Sunny, and Sunny cries all day and all night.
Oh.
So, but we were able to know his name, so we can at least call him by name, and we love on him. He's been over in my office every day this week, and so there's so much, in their vaccination records. If they're microchipped, we need information on that. All that stuff makes them move through our system faster.
So it's not even really just about, sure, it's great to have the medications, but this is also for the dog's well-being.
Yes.
Transitioning from what she thought it was their forever home,
right.
And sadly times are
right.
what they are. So this is the best way to help your pet
Absolutely.
move to their new forever home.
Absolutely. Give us as much information as you can. Like, let's just say Sonny. Sonny's been with this man for 8 years.
So I'm sure this man had
This
some
man
new
is
all of
probably
Sonny's quirks.
Yes, and he's probably sounding a lot like Sonny right now. You know,
I'm
sure he's missing him. And but yeah, give us all their quirks. Give us what, you know, if they get along with other dogs, if they get along with cats, if they are good with kids. You know, we ask all these questions on these forms, and we ask them for a reason. It's not because we're being nosy. It's because we want to do the best by your pet that we can.
And this also helps with the placement of the animal
Absolutely.
into their new home.
Absolutely. And, you know, we do go by that too, because, you know, sometimes people get very upset if we won't let them adopt a certain pet. It's not the right placement, but what we really want the people to understand is, you know, it's very hard on these animals too, if they go into a place that's not the right placement and they come back. You watch them, it's like, what did I do wrong? You know,
Right.
They had just maybe, hopefully gotten, you know, acclimated to shelter life for now. And then they get a home for a day or two, and then they get returned. Now they're starting all over again.
Right.
You know, what did I do wrong? You know, I mean, they can't talk to us, but they tell us.
Well,
you
they
know, I
can't-
mean, we know what they're going through.
They can't comprehend why they didn't fit at a home.
Right.
They just comprehend that they're being returned.
Exactly.
And that's got to be traumatic. I mean, I know if I got returned, which I probably should have once or twice, but I'm pretty sure
She's going to keep you now.
They think
Yeah,
she's
she
got
probably
me.
is going to keep you now. But you know, yeah, it is very traumatic. And so a lot of times people don't understand when we go through these adoption forms. You know, I mean, I've been yelled at and people have gone, you know, it's easier to adopt a child. And it's like, I don't think so. But these are our children.
Yes, they are. They are
We want
fur
to make
babies.
sure it's right for you and for them, you know? And if it's got some quirks, we need to know what quirks it's got before we send it out to the home, and we can tell them, hey, it does this. Are you able to work with that? You know?
Right.
So,
And I also, if I remember correctly from the newsletter that I read, we're looking for fosters.
we are always looking for fosters.
So tell us about that process and how does someone become a foster for the Humane Society?
Okay, so again, another form.
Well, it's got to happen.
You know, it does, because we need to be able to keep track of what animal's at.
I understand.
But, you know, this year, we have been inundated with orphaned kittens. And that requires bottle feeding.
Ooh.
You know,
How exciting.
or mamas that are going to have babies, and you know, so there's a lot of work that goes into it, and so we need to make sure there again that the volunteer foster that we send it with, we're making a good match, that they're going to be able to do everything that specific animal needs. If not, we'll give them one when it comes in that meets their lifestyle, that they can help.
Okay. And I'm sure that this fosters range from simple young pups and kittens to medical.
Absolutely.
And everywhere in between.
And everywhere in between, yeah. You know, and medical fosters are very important.
How long does a foster home usually last?
Okay, so, well, if you fail like I did, she was our first foster.
We should meet her, by the way.
This is Pumbaa. She is now over 12 years old from her foster.
That's a good fail.
It was a good fail. Pumbaa came into us. I was new there, and she was a pup, but they were full, and so they had her in a cat kennel.
Oh.
And they said, hey, one of them came into my office and goes, hey, we got this pup in a cat kennel and she hasn't eaten and she won't eat. She's just really scared. And I said, oh, bring her in my office. Well, the next day was my day off. And so I said, would you like me to take her home with me? Because she's eating in my office. Oh, sure. She went back and forth for a little bit there, you know, until we got her spayed and stuff. And then we legally adopted her. But sometimes fosters could be, say you get a mom that's going to have a litter of cats or dogs. So you're going to have them until they have that, and then up to 8 weeks with the babies after they're born,
Right.
and 6 weeks with the mama.
Okay.
So
there is some time, but it's not too much time. But
right, and we supply everything.
Oh.
We supply everything that the animal will need, and once the kittens or puppies start growing, we have them come in for checkups. So we need you to bring them in for checkups, and when their vaccinations start, we love to have at least 2 shots in them before they come back into the shelter.
Makes sense.
And by using fosters, we're very fortunate to be able to do that normally.
Okay.
So
we will talk about some other volunteer positions other than fostering.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about volunteer positions that you could help out with coming up here in just a moment. We'll be back. And welcome back to Paw Prints on the Mountain. I'm your host, Mike Bosley. Joining me now is Deena Pace, the Executive Director of the Humane Society of the White Mountains. Now, Deena, before the break, we were talking about volunteers and foster parents and that. But what's some ways that people could volunteer, maybe not so in home?
Right. Outside of the home to help us.
Yes.
So, our doghouse thrift shop,
okay.
we always need help over there, volunteers, to help us sort, process, clean, put out, straighten, cashier.
Now, I saw a letter from the manager to the board, and he was explaining that this is a very safe work environment.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about volunteering, but yet a little questionable, how safe is it? There's masks, there's spacing, there's
sanitizers.
Yes, so the doghouse is almost as clean as the shelter in some ways.
Yes, actually I was there yesterday and I watched Jeremy was cashiering and he had his spray bottle of sanitizer, and when he got done cashiering there were no customers in there, and he went over to all the handrails and he sprayed them and wiped them all off again, and they do that throughout the day.
Okay, so this is a really safe environment to volunteer.
And I will tell you, this pandemic, like everybody, we talk about all the time, it's changed everyone's world.
Yes.
It's changed our world, both at our doghouse and at our shelter with our volunteers. We have so many volunteers that are afraid to come out, and new ones that want to join us, but they're scared to come out. At the doghouse, there is opportunity to help there, and at the shelter, there's always opportunity to help with laundry, dishes, walking the dogs.
I was about to say, it doesn't become any more distant than walking the dogs.
Exactly, and we've got a few that have held strong, and they put their mask on when they come in and sign in, and then when they're on their walk with the dogs, they take their mask off, and because you're able to social distance there when you're walking dogs.
Yes, yes, you are.
And so, and socializing the cats. You can sit in the cat rooms, We get dogs in and cats that need that extra time with people to bring them out of their fear of being there.
That makes sense.
So, and that's always, it's really rewarding. Like I talked about Sonny, he's so crying all day, all night at the shelter. And so by bringing him over to my office, he gets some downtime. I love on him. I've got a nice big bed for him to be able to sit on. There's quiet rooms that volunteers can take these animals into and read to them.
Yes.
And let them just decompress from all the barking and all the activities that go on there all day.
That's actually, you brought up a great point. So when school was pre-COVID, I don't know how we're going to say this in the future. We're going to come up with some acronym or something.
I'm sure.
But you used to have elementary school kids come over and read to the animals.
We did.
And so now we could have homeschooling. Those that are homeschooling, but parents, you still need a break. You still have to supervise your kids.
Right, at the shelter.
Yes, but they're not tugging on you.
Yes, exactly. That would be a wonderful idea. And all they have to do is call our volunteer coordinator, Deborah, and get something set up with her. Deborah has not been able to do an orientation all summer because people are scared. And even during our orientation, we've decided, her and I have talked, and we'll cut back the amount that can come into the orientation so they can safe distance there, and of course they'll be masked.
Right.
And then they'll be free to be able to start walking the dogs or reading to the pets or whatever they choose to do. So
Now-
but the animals need our volunteers.
They're so in demand. If you have time, if you have energy, whatever you can, please volunteer. Also, you could donate. But we actually have some phenomenal news.
We do.
Yes. The raffle that was in lieu of Happy Tales,
Yes.
it actually went exceptionally well.
It did.
I was very excited to see there was a lot of tickets and a lot of buckets. And the next raffle that's coming up is going to be, in some ways, bigger and better.
You know what? It is. The next raffle. So you know what? Let's just let everyone know.
Okay.
This raffle, thanks to them, brought us $37,000 for these animals.
That is amazing.
It is. You know,
Amazing.
nothing close to what Happy Tales would have brought us, but it was. It was. You know, we didn't think we'd be able to do anything.
Right.
What are we going to do? We have to do something. You know, and so first of all, I want to thank all the volunteers that helped us with that. You know, Terry, Diane.
Co-chair, God, we love you, Terry. You're awesome, Terry.
We do. You know, just all of them. Gloria, Mary. You know, Debbie and Dawn put in so much work, and Laura. You know,
yes.
everybody went above and beyond that helped us put this together. And then the board members that came on there Saturday to draw the tickets, you know?
It was all fun. We would have been at the Humane or at Charlie
Happy
Clark's
Tales,
all
we
Saturday anyway.
Well, you know, yeah, it was a little faster this year.
Yes, it was.
So-
Cleanup was easier.
Yes, it was. But our next raffle, we're going to start on October 2nd.
Okay.
And we're going to draw on November 14th. So it'll be in
There's
time.
not much time between
No.
the start and the go.
I think it's 5 weeks. And the reason
Okay,
for
yes, okay.
the reason for it is because one of the baskets it's called a wine cellar.
Yes.
There's 88 bottles of wine.
Yes.
And then for those that don't like wine, we have a booze basket.
Even better.
Yes. And then we have a fall decor basket.
It works.
It does. We have a Christmas decor
It works.
basket. Well, let me tell you what's going to be in them that's going to work
Okay,
better.
okay,
And we
okay.
have a bench that Dennis just brought me yesterday.
Oh.
Another one of those beautiful benches that Dennis always makes for us for Happy Tales.
Right.
So, but now let me throw in what we did. So we got a grant
Okay.
for gift cards.
Okay.
So we're going to draw these on the November 14th so that people can have this for the holidays coming into it. So in these booze baskets, the wine basket, the booze basket, there's going to be a $200 Safeway gift card in each one.
Okay, so just in case your favorite booze isn't in these
You need some
basket.
food to absorb
Munchies to go, yes.
Thanksgiving
yes.
dinner.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then in the bench, we're going to have a $100 gift card.
Great.
So in the fall basket and the Christmas basket that you went,
Yeah.
there's going to be a $500 gift card in each one of those for Safeway.
Wow. So you
So-
can make your own booze basket with
You
your
can-
own fall decor.
And get some food. And you know what?
I am not an alcoholic,
I
by
was
the
gonna
way.
say,
Let's
and-
just
and
throw
when
this
you're-
out there. I just enjoy my time off.
When you are done with all your wine or your booze,
Right.
you could always go to AA free.
Yes. Well, with 88 bottles, you can gift everybody on your friend list a bottle of wine. Look
And
like a
still
rock
have some-
star and still have plenty left over.
Absolutely.
That
Your
was
Christmas
my
was just
plan the whole
great.
time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's yeah.
Probably for a few Christmases. So, yeah. So, but we're going to have gift cards in there to help buy groceries too.
So, how do you get in on these raffles? Even though no one needs to get in on the raffle of the booze basket, it's all mine.
It's all yours. You're not drawing
anyways,
that ticket this
Okay.
So how you'll get in on it is starting October 2nd. It'll be on our website again.
Okay.
So you'll be able to do it through PayPal there. You'll
Okay.
be able to buy your tickets at the shelter. And some of us will once again have tickets that we'll be selling.
Okay. All right. So,
And it's so exciting because, again, the wine and the booze has all been donated from people in our community.
amazing.
Everything's been donated. So there's no cost to these animals, and the animals are going to reap what hopefully everyone buys.
So-
Hopefully they'll buy a lot so we can reap a lot for the animals.
So, can I tell everyone what we made last year at Happy Tales?
You can?
Okay. So, rough numbers, plus minus, the animals at the shelter walked away with some 120 plus, 130, somewhere in between there.
130 something.
130.
132.
So that right there is a phenomenal number. The first raffle that we did, you brought in 37. So that's a good chunk of that. And you've told us before that it takes about $2,000 a day.
It does.
To run the shelter.
It does.
So our first raffle, we did what? Some 16, 18 days at the shelter?
Yeah.
So we really, really, really do need you to help out with these next raffles that are coming up. And as Deena said, they are super chock full of everything you may or may not need for the holidays, depending if your in-laws are coming or going. It's up to you. Is there anything else that you would like to mention for the month of October as we're taking off here?
Once again, Mike, if people don't have any desire to do those raffles, they can always donate.
You can just donate. Just donate.
And you know what? Actually, on that $37,000, $16,000 of it was raffle money.
Okay.
No, $21,000 was raffle money. The rest
now I'm
was
confused. What?
Okay, $21,000 was bought in raffle tickets.
Okay.
The others was strictly donations to us.
Wow.
Yeah, for our Happy Tails.
Wow. That when I heard that 37 number, I'm like, well, okay, my chances. But no, my chances are getting better because a lot of that money was a chunk of that money was just donation.
Yes. It was. So we're very fortunate that our community does back us so well. And, our events have been canceled. We won't be out to Pet Census still yet for dog adoptions. Our volunteers aren't comfortable with that yet. Okay. But we do have cats there for adoption.
Right.
And, they can catch us every Friday, too, as to what's going on that week on the radio
show.
Yeah, Pet of the Week.
That's right, on 98.5 KRFM.
Yep, Fridays at 10 o'clock.
All right.
And we always talk about a special Pet of the Week.
Uh-huh.
And then we also talk about what we've got going on. And if you follow us on Facebook, for about the last probably 2 or 3 months, every week I post the statistics of what we did the week before.
Oh, good. I thought that was just an email the board got.
No,
that's
out
on
there. Facebook.
Okay.
It's on Facebook because you know what? We want our community to know how many animals we're taking in and how many we're putting out.
There you go. That actually keep everybody informed.
Absolutely.
Speaking of being informed, make sure and check out hswm.org and you can find probably, if you look through the pages, your next new life partner. We'll see you next time right here on Paw Prints on the Mountain. Thanks.